Elliott Hulse situation, is insane. Let's see this.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, man, it's guys, interesting video today. We're gonna react to Elliott Hulse with his video, Unless You Eat Jesus, He's Not Inside You. I personally never followed Elliott Hulse, but especially back in the day, he was one of the first fitness YouTubers, strongman
I'm assuming he's Catholic.
YouTubers, and then later in his career he converted to Catholic Christianity.
Yeah.
If you see my face for the very first time, I reverted to Islam, alhamdulillah, but I come from an Orthodox Christian background, and Orthodox Christianity is very, very similar to Catholic Christianity. They both have the Eucharist, in which you eat God. And this was one of the main reasons why I left Orthodox Christianity and why I accepted Islam. Besides many other points, such as the Trinity, of course, God allegedly being three in one and not uniquely one. Those were facts within Christianity that I couldn't live with. But that being said, eating God, literally eating God, because this was the claim, you're consuming a specific bread, and this...
By the way, according to Islam, they shouldn't disagree with the Trinity.
Bread is the flesh of Christ, and Christ is God in Christianity, and then you're drinking wine, and this literally then becomes the blood of Christ, and only if you partake in that tradition, ritual, call it what you will, only then you truly have Jesus living inside of you, and only like that you can be a true Christian. That was the claim. For me, this was extremely cultish, extremely ritualistic, and I simply couldn't believe it, no matter how hard I tried to convince myself this is the flesh of God. Anyway.
So this is just Catholicism, by the way. This isn't just Christianity. This is specifically Catholicism.
We're going to see what Elliott Hulse has to say about the subject. Guys, before we jump into the video, do me the favor, if you enjoy my work, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check out the links in the description box below to further support. And now, with no further ado, let's have a look.
Yo, Elliot!
Yeah, eat God's body, drink his blood.
Bro, who wants to know, yo, Elliot, have you burnt out on being Catholic yet? Great question, bro. But before I answer that, you ought to know my name's Elliott Hulse. I'm a strong man, strength coach. I've been making men strong here on YouTube since 2007. You just stumbled upon my wisdom channel, where I answer your questions about life. I'll give you my insight. If you post a question down below, I might make you a video. So, question from our dude. He says, yo, Elliot, love the work you're doing. Been watching you a long time. What are your thoughts on Christianity and Catholicism? It looks like you went pretty hard, but appear to be coming away from it most recently. Do you think this is just a season or a permanent thing for you? I've explored all philosophies and religions, and at 28, I landed upon Catholicism, and I'm getting baptized ASAP. I am like you, and I tend to live by if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. Yeah, I overdo. I'm an extremist. But I don't want to burn out with Christianity. Should I go slow into it, even though it says be hot or be cold, don't be lukewarm? Well, I'll tell you, I'm hot. I'm still very hot. You just haven't seen me much because I haven't been making many YouTube videos, and I come back and answer your questions. So whatever your questions are, that's what you're going to hear from me. I'm not an evangelist. Right? That's one of the things I understand also too. You know, I became Catholic and I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a bunch of fucking Catholic videos, but then I realized it dawned on me that's not what God called me to do. God called me to be me in front of the screen, and that's what I gotta be. And I was censoring myself, I was trying to be something that I'm not. I'm 100% Catholic and I love the freaking faith. But I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna speak the way I speak, I'm gonna do it the way I do it, and it's not gonna be the only thing that I talk about because y'all got other types of questions. This is not an evangelistic channel. I do have one that's called Catechesis, but I haven't put anything on there because I'm just inconsistent anyway, right? So I might come back to that one at some point. So look, man, you talk about like, you know, burning out and like longevity in terms of the faith. And I'll tell you this, man, if it was any other faith or any other, you know, Christian denomination, right? You know that word denomination means to like to denominate, to have no name, like no brain, like no frills, right? Like we got name brand Christian, which is Catholic, which is the OG, the only church that Christ established. But
yeah, this is a claim that you hear oftentimes from Catholic Christians that they have the OG church, the original church. But man, I have no dog in this fight. I'm not an Orthodox Christian, I'm not a Catholic Christian, I'm not a Christian at all. Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy about that. But that being said, it doesn't really take much research looking into and finding out that the Orthodox Christian church is of course the original church. Now, do I personally believe that Jesus Christ himself established that church? No, I don't. Because in the passage of the Bible we read that he creates his gathering upon Peter, which will be his rock. The literal translation is gathering and not church. Then later on, it has been interpreted as a church. The real translation, as I said, is gathering, fellowship, something on those lines. But nevertheless, historically speaking, if we're talking about church Christianity, you simply have to look into the creeds and how Christianity was established in the first place, who those people were, and then you need to fast forward a little bit into the Great Schism and check why the so-called Catholic Church departed from the Orthodox Church. And then you will see that the Catholic Church came up with innovations. Be it the filioque, be it the papacy, and then you just double check what the early church did or didn't do, and then you will find out, wow, big surprise, the Orthodox Christian church is actually the only church that is still adhering to the first creeds, to the OG Christianity, OG church Christianity, how I like to call it. So Catholics are definitely not the OGs.
I would have burnt out with any of those other ones because they're empty. All they have is the Bible. All they have is the Bible. All they got is a book. All they got is a book. Look, Bible bumping. Bro, you can't burn out on Catholicism because
Not true. Yes, again, not true. This holds true for the Protestants. They go by sola scriptura. That's probably what he talks about. However, when it comes down to the tradition and the fullness of the Christian tradition, you will find that exclusively, actually, in the Orthodox Church.
As long as you frequent the sacraments, you are in God's grace and He fills you with His life. The only way I could, and I would fall away because I have ADHD, I would absolutely get shiny object syndrome, and I like a lot of other shit. I love traditional Catholicism, like trad to the core, like Taylor Marshall hardcore, SSPX hardcore. I like it, but I can't live that way. I love all kinds of sinful things too. And it's just gonna be, it's just the way it's gonna be. It's the way it's gonna be. I'm gonna do yoga from time to time. I like astrology, right?
Okay.
And you know, like, I was pretending like those things wasn't like interesting to me.
And that's pretty crazy, to be honest. So things like astrology in Islam are absolutely haram, and they even bring you out of the fold of Islam, according to some. If you look into magical practices, occult practices, sihr, this kicks you out of the fold of Islam right away. And I would believe that it is the same thing in Catholicism, I would assume. In the Orthodox Christian context, astrology would fall under divination. Manteia is the real Orthodox term, and I'm sure it's the same in Catholicism. Moreover, you have sorcery, occultism.
Catholic to the core. It wasn't just me, it's my whole family, my whole world converted. My wife spends more time at our parish some weeks than she is at home. Well, that's not totally true, but she spends a whole lot of time at our parish. She's involved in everything. My daughter is about to become a nun. My oldest daughter wants to become a nun. My younger kids, they go to mass with us every weekend.
All right, well, they're all retarded.